Yes. Hi, hello students. Welcome to Vidyalakshmi YouTube channel. This is your Ashok Kumar. Okay. So last time we have discussed about a reproduction, very important concept. Okay. This time we are going to see about the important concept of a board examination of 10th as well as for plus 1 and plus 2 is important concept we can call as respiration. Okay. So as you know, aware of respiration. So respiration is nothing but the complete oxidation of glucose molecule to produce energy. That is called respiration. Okay. So here in this major topics we are going to see here is types of respiration. So we can see the basic of respiration, types of respiration and respiration classification and experiments related to respiration. So we are going to see all this in this particular contest. Okay. Yes. Next we can see here. So respiration. So here, as you know that respiration is an important task. So respiration can be defined as the complete oxidation. The complete oxidation or the complete breakdown of glucose. The complete oxidation or the complete breakdown of glucose is called as a respiration. So respiration is an essential basic life process in which complete oxidation of glucose will occur to produce energy. That is called respiration. Yes, you can see here. So it can be defined as complete oxidation of glucose to produce energy. That is called respiration. And moreover, it is considered as a catabolic pathway. Respiration is considered as a catabolic pathway. So here, what is meant by catabolism? So catabolism means nothing but here. Catabolism means nothing but here. Breakdown of glucose. That is called catabolism. So catabolism can be defined as the process in which a breakdown of glucose is called catabolism. So here during catabolism process, glucose has undergone the breakdown to produce energy. That's what respiration is an example of catabolic pathway. Okay. So that is about catabolism. Okay. That's what respiration is an example of catabolism or catabolic pathway. Okay. Next, it is a continuous process of photosynthesis. It is a continuous process of photosynthesis. Why? Because during photosynthesis we have seen that the formation of glucose. So glucose has been formed during the process of photosynthesis. Okay. So that glucose molecule are combined together to form starch. Okay. So glucose is one of the end product of photosynthesis. So number of glucose molecules are combined together to form starch. Okay, that process we can call anabolism. Here you can see here. Yes. So when we observe any metabolic pathway or any metabolism, it includes one anabolism or one anabolic pathway and one catabolism. So both anabolism and catabolism, one anabolism and one catabolism are combined together, we can call as one metabolic pathway. So anabolism can be defined as the process of formation of large molecule by combining simple molecules. So number of simple molecules are combined together to form large molecule. That is called anabolism. So best example for anabolism is photosynthesis. So it is photosynthesis is best example of anabolism. So as you know, the end product of photosynthesis is one of the end product is called glucose. So number of glucose molecules are combined together to form starch. That's what photosynthesis is an example of anabolism. So glucose molecules are simple molecules. So starch is large molecules. So simple molecules are combined together to form large molecule. That process we can call anabolism. So finally what I can say is anabolism, best example for anabolism is photosynthesis. Okay. So whereas catabolism, So catabolism is breakdown of that glucose. So After the taking of starch by us, so starch undergo human digestive system. Finally, by the end of digestive system, all carbohydrates must convert into glucose. All carbohydrates must convert into glucose. So that glucose molecule undergo respiratory system. That glucose molecule undergo respiration or oxidation of glucose then to produce energy. So that's what that process, breakdown of glucose molecule is called catabolism. So one anabolism, one catabolism. Photosynthesis plus respiration. So one anabolism, one catabolism we can combine together, we can call metabolism or metabolic pathway. So that is the basis of metabolism or metabolic pathway. Okay. So now concern to main topic here. So here we are discussing about respiration. So respiration is an example of catabolism or a catabolic pathway. Okay. So yes, it's an example of catabolism or catabolic pathway. Yes. In which breakdown of glucose. So what happens by the breakdown of glucose? So breakdown of glucose, energy has been produced. Energy has been produced. Okay. So breakdown of glucose is done during respiration to produce energy, and that energy is always stored in the form of ATP. Energy is always stored in the form of ATP. So the full form of ATP is adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine triphosphate. Okay. So energy is always stored in the form of ATP. Adenosine triphosphate. So final conclusion of respiration is glucose molecule undergo respiration to produce energy. So that energy is always stored in the form of ATP. So ATP full form is adenosine triphosphate. Okay. So that is the basis of respiration. Okay. So that is the basis of respiration. So it is a continuous process of photosynthesis. Just now I told you. Why? Because so the end product of photosynthesis is called glucose. So that glucose molecule undergo digestive system in our body, and through digestive system, final digestive system, we may get glucose. So that glucose molecule again it undergo respiration to produce energy. So continuous process of photosynthesis is called respiration. Okay. So the chemical equation of respiration, once you see here, chemical equation of respiration. So glucose molecule here, glucose molecule undergo, so C6H12O6 is the formula of glucose. Glucose. So glucose molecule undergo respiration. Glucose molecule undergo respiration to produce carbon dioxide, water plus energy. Okay. And just now I told you, energy is secreted during respiration. Okay. So energy is always stored in the form of ATP. That is called adenosine triphosphate. Just now I told you. Okay. So the energy is always, just so you can see here, energy is always stored. So energy is always produced during respiration, and that energy is always stored in the form of ATP. That is called adenosine triphosphate. Okay. So that is about basis of respiration. Next, types of respiration. Types of respiration. So we can see different types of living organisms. Okay. Animals, plants, everything. Okay. So this respiratory system is highly developed. Respiratory system is highly developed in vertebrates. Invertebrates is not that well developed. Okay. So it is highly developed in vertebrates. But in all animals you can see the respiration process. Okay. So when we observe most of the living organisms, most of the animals, we can see 4 types of respiration. 4 types of respiration occurs in organisms. 4 types of respiration based upon respiratory organs. 4 types of respiration occurs in living organisms based on respiration. Okay. So let us see what are those. First one is called cutaneous respiration. Okay. First type of respiration we can call cutaneous respiration. Okay. So cutaneous respiration can be defined as the respiration which occurs by the skin. Skin is the respiratory organ. Skin is the respiratory organ. So such type of respiration we can call cutaneous respiration. Okay. So first type of respiration is called cutaneous respiration. It can be defined as the respiration, the type of respiration which occurs by the involvement of skin. So such type of respiration is called cutaneous respiration. So best example of the animal which undergo cutaneous respiration is earthworm. So earthworm, it can use skin for their respiration. That's what that type of respiration is called a cutaneous respiration. Okay. Second type of respiration is called pulmonary respiration. Very, very important. Okay. Second type of respiration is called pulmonary respiration. So the word itself, pulmonary means nothing but it is always related to lungs. Okay. So lungs are the main respiratory organs. Lungs are the respiratory organs. So such type of respiration is called pulmonary respiration. Okay. Again I am repeating, pulmonary respiration can be defined as the type of respiration which occurs by the lungs. Such type of respiration is called pulmonary respiration. Okay. So best example for pulmonary respiration is called human beings. Okay, as we know. So in our body, lungs, two lungs, a pair of lungs will be present. Left lung and right lung. Okay, left lung and right lung. So these two lungs are very important. These two lungs plays an important role in respiration. Such type of respiration is called pulmonary respiration. Pulmonary respiration. Okay, and the study of lungs. The study of lungs we can call as pulmonology. The study of lungs is called pulmonology. So pulmonology is a branch of biology which deals with the study of lungs. Such type of respiration is called pulmonary respiration. Okay. Next, third type of respiration is called bronchial respiration. Bronchial respiration. So bronchial respiration can be defined as the respiration which occurs by the involvement of gills. So gills are the main respiratory organs. Such type of respiration is called bronchial respiration. And the best example for the animals which undergo bronchial respiration are called fishes. Fishes. Okay. So as you know, fishes, they can live in water. Okay. So they don't have specialized respiratory organs like lungs. So they can use gills for their respiration, exchanging of gases. Okay. So that's about bronchial respiration. And next one is tracheal respiration. Tracheal. So tracheal respiration can be defined as the type of respiration which occurs by the involvement of trachea. Trachea is the main respiratory organ. Such type of respiration we can call as tracheal respiration. Tracheal respiration. And the best example of organisms, best example of animals which undergo tracheal respiration is called insects. Insects. So best example we can see cockroaches. So like that. Cockroaches, insects like that. So these are the different types of respiration we can observe in different types of animals. And compared to all this, we can see in our body, the type of respiration occurs in our body we can call as pulmonary respiration. The type of respiration which occurs in our body is called pulmonary respiration. That is called lungs. So lungs are very, very important. Okay. Next one, respiration is different from breathing. So as all you know, so respiration is nothing but complete breakdown of glucose to produce energy. So breakdown of glucose to produce energy we can call respiration. Whereas breathing can be defined as the process in which inhaling of gases followed by exhaling of gases. The process in which inhaling of gases followed by exhaling of gases. That process you can call a breathing process. Okay. So inhaling followed by exhaling of gases you can call a breathing process. So respiration is different from breathing. So respiration can be defined as the process in which breakdown of glucose to produce energy. Whereas breathing can be defined as the process in which inhaling of gases followed by exhaling of gases is called a breathing process. So that is the difference between breathing as well as a respiration. Next, breathing can be defined as, just I told you, the life process in which inhalation is nothing but intaking of gases. Inhalation is nothing but intaking of gases. Okay. So the process in which inhalation followed by exhalation, releasing of gases to outside. So that process we can call as a breathing process. Okay. Next. Yes. So we can see, just now we have seen that a respiration equation. So one of the end product of respiration is called carbon dioxide. One of the end product of respiration is called carbon dioxide. So this carbon dioxide, the releasing of carbon dioxide we can see here. The releasing of carbon dioxide we can prove experimentally. Okay. So this is the experiment. This is the experiment to prove that carbon dioxide is going to be released during the respiration process. Okay. So for any activity, for any experiment, we have to follow a specific manner: aim, requirements, procedure, observation, result. Okay. Aim. So this is the strategy we have to follow for any experiment, for any activity. Aim, requirements, procedure, observation, and result. Okay. So first of all, you can see about aim. So aim, we can mention that to prove that respiration in human beings. To prove that respiration occurs in human beings. Okay. Next one is requirements. So what are the things we require for this activity? That is called requirements. So what are the materials we require for this activity? What are the things we require for this activity? That we can call as requirements, or we can also call materials needed, or we can write apparatus, whatever it may be. Okay. So materials required or requirements for this activity is we need 2 test tubes. Here we have taken 2 test tubes. So we need to take 2 test tubes. Okay. Next, we need to take lime water. So formula of lime water is CaOH twice. Formula of lime water is CaOH twice. That is called calcium hydroxide. The formula of lime water is called CaOH twice. That we can call as calcium hydroxide. Calcium hydroxide. So we need to take 2 test tubes. We need to take 2 test tubes, and we need to take lime water. That is called calcium hydroxide. Then we need to take 2 rubber tubes. Rubber tubes, or we can take straws. Anyone, 2 straws. And next one, syringe. So all these things we need for this activity. So these are the requirements we need for this activity. Next one is procedure. So how can we perform the activity? How can we perform the activity? That we can consider as a procedure. Okay. So here procedure is, first of all we need to take 2 test tubes. Here 2 test tubes we need to take. Okay. So we need to take 2 test tubes. Next one here is the half of the 2 test tubes are filled with lime water. Yes. Here 1 test tube and here 1 more test tube. This is 1 and this is 2. 2 test tubes. Okay. So half of both the test tubes. Half of the test tubes are filled with lime water. Half of the test tubes are going to be filled with lime water. So as you know, the formula of lime water is CaOH twice. Calcium hydroxide. Okay. So first of all we need to take 2 test tubes. Okay. Next point here is we must fill half of the 2 test tubes with lime water. Lime water. Next point here is keep 2 rubber tubes in 2 test tubes. So inside here we should keep 1 rubber tube and here 1 more rubber tube. 2 rubber tubes we need to keep inside the 2 test tubes of lime water. Next one, label the test tubes as A and B. So here we are labeled as 1 and 2, but here we have to label as A and B. A and B. So first of all we need to take 2 test tubes. Procedure. First of all we need to take 2 test tubes. Next point here is label the test tubes as A and B. Next point here is both the test tubes, half of both the test tubes are going to be filled with lime water. Lime water. Next point here is insert 2 rubber tubes or 2 straws inside of the 2 test tubes. Inside of the 2 test tubes. Okay. Next point, in 1 test tube insert the syringe and through 1 rubber tube. So in another test tube below the A through rubber tube. So see the variation. In 1 test tube we are inhaling, and in 1 test tube we are not inhaling. Okay. So as you know, by breathing, carbon dioxide has been released to outside in the form of heat. Okay. So observe the color change in the test tube. So the mechanism, the principle involved in this process here is, the principle involved in this activity here is, so whatever the test tube we are blowing. So in 1 test tube we are going to blow, and in another test tube we are not going to blow. So only 1 test tube we are going to blow. So whatever the test tube we are going to blow, carbon dioxide has been released out. Whatever the test tube we are going to blow, carbon dioxide has been released out through breathing or respiration. So that carbon dioxide is combined with lime water. As you can see here, carbon dioxide. So here once you see here, so here we have lime water. So when carbon dioxide, so carbon dioxide is one of the byproduct of breathing or respiration. So when this carbon dioxide reacts with calcium hydroxide, that is lime water, so we may get calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate. When carbon dioxide reacts with calcium hydroxide, we may get calcium carbonate. So this calcium carbonate we can observe in the form of milky white color. Okay, so here we got milky white color, but here there is no milky white formation because here there is no carbon dioxide, but here carbon dioxide has been released because we have blown. So that carbon dioxide reacts with calcium hydroxide to form calcium carbonate. So this formation of calcium carbonate we can identify, we can observe in the form of a milky white color. So if milky white color has been formed, that this indicates that carbon dioxide has been released during respiration or breathing process. So this is the activity. Okay. Yes. Next we can see here observational result. So observation. So we observe that color change. So here we have seen. So in this test tube we have seen lime water. So lime water changed into a milky white color. Lime water is changed into milky white color. How the lime water changed into milky white? Principle here is the carbon dioxide is released by the respiration of breathing. So that carbon dioxide is mixed with calcium carbonate. So carbon dioxide is combined with calcium hydroxide, that is called lime water, to produce calcium carbonate. So this calcium carbonate we can observe in the form of milky white color. So if milky white color has been formed, that indicates that carbon dioxide has been released by the respiration or breathing. So that is the activity. Okay. And result, final result. So result we can consider that this experiment proves that carbon dioxide is released. This experiment proves that carbon dioxide is released by the respiration or breathing. So this is a small activity. So by this activity we can confirm that whether the carbon dioxide is released or not. Okay, that is about activity. Next concept here we can see here, very important concept concerned to board examinations. Here is types of respiration. So respiration is of two types. Aerobic and anaerobic respiration. So respiration is of two types, aerobic and anaerobic respiration. So aerobic respiration can be defined as the respiration which occurs in presence of oxygen. The respiration which occurs. So the respiration which occurs in presence of oxygen is called aerobic respiration. Okay. So anaerobic respiration, second one. Anaerobic respiration can be defined as the respiration which occurs in absence of oxygen. That is the differentiation between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. So aerobic respiration can be defined as the respiration which occurs in presence of oxygen. Okay. So most of the cells in our body except muscles, they undergo aerobic respiration. Whereas examples for anaerobic respiration is yeast cells. So respiration which occurs in yeast. Next one, respiration occurs in some bacteria, and respiration occurs in muscles. So these are the examples of anaerobic respiration. So aerobic respiration occurs most of the cells of our body, whereas anaerobic respiration occurs in some of the bacteria and yeast and some of the organisms, and moreover it occurs in muscles. So that is about aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Next we can see the basis of aerobic and anaerobic respiration. So just now I told aerobic respiration can be defined as the respiration which occurs in presence of oxygen. That is called aerobic respiration. So aerobic respiration, it occurs in 3 successive steps. Aerobic respiration occurs in 3 steps. aerobic respiration, it occurs in 3 steps. These are, first one is called glycolysis. Aerobic respiration occurs in 3 steps. First one is called glycolysis. The word itself, glycolysis. So glycolysis can be defined as, glyco means glucose. Glyco means glucose. Lysis means a breakdown. Lysis means breakdown. Okay. So breakdown of glucose is called as a glycolysis. Okay. Breakdown of glucose we can call as a glycolysis. So glycolysis is the first step of aerobic respiration. So glycolysis is the first step of aerobic respiration here. Yes. Glycolysis is the first step of aerobic respiration. So glycolysis, glucose, lysis means breakdown. So a breakdown of one glucose molecule to produce 2 pyruvic acid molecules or 2 pyruvate. Breakdown of one glucose molecule to produce 2 pyruvic acid molecules or 2 pyruvate molecules, that we can call as a glycolysis. Okay. So breakdown of glucose to produce 2 pyruvic acid molecules, that is called glycolysis. And glycolysis, it occurs in cytoplasm of the cell. Very, very important. Location of glycolysis. So glycolysis, it mostly occurs in cytoplasm of the cell. As you know, cytoplasm. So cytoplasm is the fluid which is present inside the cell. The fluid which is present inside the cell is called cytoplasm. So within the cytoplasm, this glycolysis will occur. Okay. So glycolysis is otherwise called EM pathway. Glycolysis is also called EM pathway because this glycolysis was discovered by 2 scientists, namely Emden and Meyerhoff. Emden and Meyerhoff. So these are the 2 scientists that discovered the glycolysis. That's what the name is given as. Emden, first letter has taken E. Meyerhoff, first letter has taken M. EM pathway. That's what glycolysis is also called, EM pathway. So this is the introduction of only glycolysis. Okay. So again we are discussing, again I am explaining, glycolysis is considered as the first step of aerobic respiration. First step of aerobic respiration. So during glycolysis process, glucose molecule, one glucose molecule, it undergo breakdown to produce 2 pyruvic acid molecules. So one glucose molecule, it can convert into 2 pyruvic acid molecules or 2 pyruvate molecules, that we can call a glycolysis. So location of glycolysis is, it occurs in cytoplasm of the cell, and glycolysis is also called EM pathway. Emden and Meyerhoff. These are the 2 scientists that discovered a glycolysis. That's what, on behalf of the names, we can call it as EM pathway. So that's about just introduction of glycolysis. Next, second stage we can call as TCA cycle. Second stage we can call as TCA cycle. Yes. Second stage we can call a TCA cycle. So the full form of TCA is tricarboxylic acid. Second stage of aerobic respiration is called TCA cycle. Now we have finished first stage, that is called glycolysis. Second stage is called TCA cycle. So the full form of TCA is tricarboxylic acid. Okay. So TCA cycle is called tricarboxylic acid cycle. It is TCA cycle is also called as Krebs cycle. Why? Because this TCA cycle was discovered by a scientist namely Sir Hans Krebs. So TCA cycle was discovered by Sir Hans Krebs. So behalf of the name, we can call TCA cycle is also called as a Krebs cycle. Okay. Next one, it is also called as citric acid cycle. So TCA cycle is the second stage of aerobic respiration. TCA cycle is the second stage of aerobic respiration. It is also called Krebs cycle because it was discovered by Sir Hans Krebs. Okay, and it is also called as citric acid cycle. Okay, so that is the basis of Krebs cycle. Okay, so Krebs cycle Yes. Krebs cycle. So the end product of glycolysis is called pyruvic acid. The end product of glycolysis is called pyruvic acid. So this pyruvic acid molecule, it undergo into TCA cycle to produce carbon dioxide and oxygen. That is called TCA cycle. Okay. Next one is called, so location of TCA cycle. Location. So as usually we have seen about glycolysis location. So like that we have to see the location of TCA cycle. So TCA cycle, it occurs in mitochondrial. TCA cycle, it occurs in mitochondrial cristae. So the foldings of, the inner foldings of mitochondria we can call cristae. So within the cristae, this TCA cycle will occur. That is the location of TCA cycle. And next one we can say about third one. So two stages we have finished. First one we can call glycolysis. It occurs in cytoplasm of the cell. Okay. Second stage is called TCA cycle. It occurs in mitochondrial cristae. And third cycle we can say here is called electron transport chain, ETC. So ETC we can call electron transport chain. Okay. So electron transport chain. So it is the third stage of aerobic respiration. Okay. So it occurs in mitochondrial cristae. That is the location of electron transport chain. Okay. And in which complete oxidation of glucose will occur. So in glycolysis and TCA cycle, complete oxidation of glucose does not occur. Okay. Whereas the continuous process of glycolysis and TCA cycle is called electron transport chain, where complete oxidation of glucose molecule will occur to produce energy in the form of ATP. That is called electron transport chain. So electron transport chain is the third step of aerobic respiration, in which complete oxidation of glucose will occur to produce energy, and that produced energy is always stored in the form of ATP. That is called adenosine triphosphate. So these are the three steps of aerobic respiration. Now we can see here aerobic respiration equation. Yes. So glucose molecule undergo aerobic respiration. Okay. And aerobic respiration always occurs in presence of oxygen. So glucose molecule combined with oxygen. So aerobic respiration in the sense oxygen will be involved. So respiration occurs in presence of oxygen. Respiration of glucose occurs in presence of oxygen. We may get these end products. Carbon dioxide we may get, water we may get, and energy. So we may get it. And the total amount of energy produced during aerobic respiration is 686 kilocalories of energy. So the net amount of energy is produced. During aerobic respiration of one glucose molecule is 686 kilocalories of energy. That is the net quantity of amount of energy is released during one complete oxidation of one glucose molecule. So that is about aerobic respiration. Okay. So these are the three stages. So now we have seen aerobic respiration three stages: glycolysis, TCA cycle, and electron transport chain. Okay. Glycolysis, TCA cycle, and electron transport chain. So electron transport chain is the third stage. Okay. So during electron transport chain, glucose molecule is completely oxidized to produce energy, and the net amount of energy produced during aerobic respiration is 686 kilocalories of energy. So this is about the basis of aerobic respiration. Okay. Yes, let us see here, very important task here, glycolysis. So now we have seen about, before this we have seen that glycolysis, first stage. So during glycolysis I had explained earlier that, glucose molecule, they undergo glycolysis to produce two pyruvic acid molecules. Glucose molecule undergo into aerobic respiration. So the first step of aerobic respiration is glycolysis. Okay. So in glycolysis, glucose molecule, it undergo glycolysis to produce two pyruvic acid molecules. As here, pyruvate we got. So two pyruvic acid molecules we may get it. That is called a glycolysis. So these are all reaction intermediates. Okay, so this is the cyclic pathway of glycolysis. Now we can see here what are the changes we can see in glycolysis. Yes, so glucose molecule undergo aerobic respiration. Glucose molecule undergo aerobic respiration. That is called glycolysis. So glucose molecule in step 1 it can convert into glucose 6 phosphate. So glucose molecule will convert into glucose 6 phosphate. Here phosphate group is added at 6th position of 6th carbon atom. 6th carbon atom of glucose. Yes. Okay, so phosphate molecule is added at 6th position of 6th carbon atom of glucose. Yes, we can see the diagram here. So glucose formula is C6H12O6. This is the formula of glucose. That means we have 6 carbon atoms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here we can give the numbering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 carbon atoms. Okay. So 6th carbon atom phosphate molecule will be added. That is called glucose 6 phosphate. Glucose 6 phosphate. So glucose in first step glucose will convert into glucose 6 phosphate. So phosphate group is added to 6th carbon atom of the glucose. That is called glucose 6 phosphate. Okay. And this conversion of glucose to glucose 6 phosphate is initiated by an enzyme is called hexokinase. So glucose to conversion of glucose to glucose 6 phosphate is influenced by an enzyme is called hexokinase. Hexokinase. And in this reaction ATP has been involved. ATP is going to be involved to form ADP. So here one ATP has been utilized. One ATP has been utilized in first reaction. Okay. So energetics are very important. So in first step glucose is converted into glucose 6 phosphate. Okay. So phosphate molecule or phosphate group is added to 6th carbon atom of the glucose molecule. 6th carbon atom of the glucose molecule. Then we may get glucose 6 phosphate. So this conversion is influenced by an enzyme is called hexokinase. Hexokinase. Okay. And this conversion it requires one ATP utilization. So one ATP has been utilized here. Okay. That is the first step. Next step, glucose 6 phosphate will convert into fructose 6 phosphate. Fructose 6 phosphate. So glucose is converted into fructose. That's all. Okay. So this conversion is influenced by an enzyme is called phosphofructoisomerase or phosphohexoisomerase. Isomerase means nothing but isomerism. So glucose will convert into fructose. Okay. So phosphohexoisomerase enzyme will convert glucose 6 phosphate to fructose 6 phosphate. That is the second reaction. Okay. And third reaction, fructose 6 phosphate will convert into fructose 1,6 bisphosphate. Fructose 6 phosphate will convert into fructose 1,6 bisphosphate or diphosphate. So here what is the variation? In fructose 6 phosphate we can see phosphate group at 6th carbon atom of the fructose. But one more phosphate molecule is added to fructose at first position. Okay. So already we have got fructose 6 phosphate. So phosphate group molecule is added to 6th position, 6th carbon atom of the fructose. But one more phosphate molecule is added to fructose 6 phosphate at first position. That's what we got. 2 phosphate molecules of a fructose at first position and 6th position. That's what it's called. Fructose 1,6 bisphosphate or fructose 1,6 diphosphate. Okay. So next one, this fructose 1,6 diphosphate, conversion of fructose to fructose 1,6 diphosphate, it is an energy consuming process. So here one ATP has been utilized. One ATP is utilized. So total 1 plus 1, 2 ATPs are utilized. 2 ATPs are utilized in this reaction. Okay. Next one you can see here, fructose 1,6 diphosphate or fructose 1,6 bisphosphate. Fructose 1,6 diphosphate or fructose 1,6 bisphosphate will convert into 2 intermediate components. 2 intermediate components. Okay. These are GTP. One is GTP and the second one is called DHAP. DHAP. GTP and DHAP. So GTP means glyceraldehyde triphosphate. GTP means glyceraldehyde triphosphate. So DHAP means dihydroxyacetone phosphate. Okay. So GTP in the sense glyceraldehyde triphosphate or glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Okay, second one is called DHAP, that is called dihydroxyacetone phosphate. Okay, so this DHAP further we will convert into GTP, glyceraldehyde triphosphate. Okay, so further reactions of glycolysis occurs from GTP onwards. GTP. Okay, so GTP will convert into 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate or 1,3-bisphosphoglyceric acid. Okay, so GTP will convert into 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate or 1,3-bisphosphoglyceric acid. So this is an energy releasing process. So NADH is released. So 1 NADH is equal to 3 ATPs. 3 ATPs. So 3 ATPs has been released during this reaction. Okay. Next one, 1,3-bisphosphoglyceric acid will convert into 3-phosphoglyceric acid. So 1,3-bisphosphoglyceric acid will convert into 3-phosphoglyceric acid. Okay. So this is influenced by an enzyme is called phosphoglycerate kinase. Phosphoglycerate kinase. Okay. So 1,3-bisphosphoglyceric acid will convert into 3-phosphoglyceric acid. So here in this reaction 1 ATP has been released. 1 ATP is released. Okay. Next one, 3-phosphoglyceric acid will convert into 2-phosphoglyceric acid. 3-phosphoglyceric acid will convert into 2-phosphoglyceric acid. So 3 is converted into 2-phosphoglyceric acid. And this conversion is being influenced by an enzyme is called phosphoglyceromutase. Phosphoglyceromutase. This conversion. 3-phosphoglyceric acid converted into 2-phosphoglyceric acid or 2-phosphoglycerate. So this conversion is influenced by phosphoglyceromutase. Okay. And here there is no energy consuming or there is no energy releasing. Okay. And next one, 2-phosphoglycerate or 2-phosphoglyceric acid will convert into phosphoenol pyruvate. We can call as PEP. That is called phosphoenol pyruvate. Phosphoenol pyruvate. And here there is no energy releasing and energy utilization. So water molecule is going to be released outside. Water molecule. And this conversion 2-phosphoglycerate to phosphoenol pyruvate. This conversion is influenced by an enzyme is called enolase. Okay. And finally, phosphoenol pyruvate will convert into 2-pyruvic acid molecule. Phosphoenol pyruvate will convert into 2-pyruvic acid molecule. So earlier we have seen that glycolysis, glucose molecule will convert into 2-pyruvic acid molecule. So initial product is glucose and final product is 2-pyruvic acid molecule. So this is about glycolysis. And this conversion, phosphoenol pyruvate to pyruvate conversion, is influenced by an enzyme is called pyruvate kinase. Pyruvate kinase, and it is an energy releasing process. ATP, 1 ATP has been released. 1 ATP. Okay. So this is about complete statistic form of the glycolysis. So finally, during glycolysis, glucose molecule undergo glycolysis to produce 2-pyruvic acid molecules. 2-pyruvic acid molecules. This is called a glycolysis. Okay. So this is about glycolysis. So next we can see the next one. Yes. Second stage. Okay. So second stage already we have discussed earlier. That is called, second stage we can call as TCA cycle. TCA cycle. Second stage of aerobic respiration is called TCA cycle. So TCA cycle we can call as tricarboxylic acid. Tricarboxylic acid cycle. So TCA, the full form is tricarboxylic acid. Okay. And this TCA cycle we can also call as Krebs cycle. TCA cycle we can also call as Krebs cycle. So why we can call TCA cycle as Krebs cycle? Because this TCA cycle was discovered by scientists namely Sir Hans Krebs. Sir Hans Krebs. Okay, so that's what, because of the scientist's contribution, we can consider this as the Krebs cycle. Okay, so TCA cycle is also called Krebs cycle, or it is also called as citric acid cycle. Citric acid cycle. Citric acid cycle, because citric acid is one of the byproduct of this cycling. That's what it is called, citric acid cycle. So TCA cycle we can also call as Krebs cycle or citric acid cycle. So now we can say, yes, so this is the TCA cycle. Okay, yes, you can see here. So the end product of glycolysis is we can call as pyruvic acid. End product of glycolysis we can call pyruvate or pyruvic acid molecule, 2-pyruvate. Okay, so this pyruvate molecule is formed in cytoplasm. Yes, so pyruvic acid or pyruvate molecule is formed in cytoplasm. Okay, but TCA cycle occurs in mitochondria. TCA cycle occurs in mitochondrial matrix. Okay, so pyruvic acid molecule, it has to be entered from cytoplasm to mitochondrial matrix. Okay, so pyruvic acid is the end product of glycolysis which is formed in cytoplasm. Okay, so this pyruvic acid molecule, it has to enter into mitochondrial matrix because the TCA cycle is initiating in mitochondrial matrix. So how it will be entered? So pyruvic acid molecule is combined with acetyl coenzyme. Very, very important. So pyruvic acid molecule is combined with acetyl coenzyme. Then it is entered into the mitochondrial matrix. Again I am repeating, pyruvic acid is formed in cytoplasm. Okay, but TCA cycle has to start in mitochondrial matrix. So how the pyruvic acid is entered into mitochondrial matrix? Because this pyruvic acid molecule is combined with acetyl coenzyme. Pyruvic acid molecule is combined with acetyl coenzyme. Then that pyruvic acid is entered into the mitochondrial matrix. So pyruvic acid molecule is combined with acetyl coenzyme in mitochondrial matrix to form oxaloacetate. That we can call OAA. Oxaloacetate. Okay, oxaloacetate. Okay. So this oxaloacetate, it converts into citric acid. So here we got citric acid as one of the byproduct. That's what it is called citric acid cycle. Okay. So oxaloacetic acid, it undergo condensation process to form citric acid. Okay. So citric acid convert into isocitric acid. Isocitric acid. So isocitric acid can convert into alpha ketoglutarate or alpha ketoglutaric acid. So citric acid will convert into isocitric acid. Isocitric acid will convert into alpha ketoglutaric acid. Alpha ketoglutaric acid. And conversion of isocitric acid to alpha ketoglutarate, carbon dioxide is released out. Carbon dioxide is released out. So this process we can call as decarboxylation. Decarboxylation. Okay. Removal of carbon dioxide is called decarboxylation. Okay. So carbon dioxide is going to be released out and energy is released. NAD plus is reduced to NADH during the conversion of isocitric acid to alpha ketoglutarate. Okay. Next one, alpha ketoglutarate will convert into succinyl-CoA. Succinyl-CoA. Okay. So within this conversion, carbon dioxide is released out. This we can also call as decarboxylation. Removal of carbon dioxide we can call decarboxylation. Okay. So carbon dioxide is released out. And moreover, NAD is reduced to NADH. NAD is reduced to NADH during the conversion of alpha ketoglutarate into succinyl-CoA. Okay. Next one, succinyl-CoA will convert into succinate. Succinyl-CoA will convert into succinate. Okay. And here ATP is released out. ATP, 1 ATP is released out. Okay. Next one, succinate will convert into fumarate. Fumarate. Okay. So here FAD is reduced to FADH2. Energetics. FAD is reduced to FADH2. Okay. So here FAD we can consider as flavin adenosine diphosphate. Flavin adenosine diphosphate, that is called FAD. So FAD is reduced to FADH2, that is flavin adenosine dihydrogen. Okay. So here energy is going to be released. So FADH2 is equal to 2 ATPs. 2 ATPs. Okay. And fumarate will convert into malate. Okay. So here conversion of fumarate to malate, this process we can call as hydration. So water molecule is added here. Water molecule. Okay. So fumarate will convert into malate. Finally, malate will convert into oxaloacetic acid. Malate will convert into oxaloacetic acid. This is influenced by an enzyme is called malate dehydrogenase. So malate will convert into oxaloacetic acid. Okay. So malate will convert into oxaloacetic acid by the involvement of an enzyme is called malate dehydrogenase. Malate dehydrogenase. So this conversion malate to oxaloacetic acid is influenced by malate dehydrogenase enzyme, and it is an energy releasing process. So NAD is reduced to NADH. Okay. So this is about complete pathway of TCA cycle, tricarboxylic cycle or Krebs cycle. Okay. This is about TCA cycle. And last stage we are going to see here is called electron transport chain. Yes. So after the TCA cycle, yes, this is the TCA cycle, and after the TCA cycle we may get electron transport chain. Yes. Yes. After TCA cycle we may get electron transport chain. Electron transport chain. Okay. So during electron transport chain, complete breakdown or complete oxidation of glucose will occur. Complete breakdown or complete oxidation of glucose will occur to produce energy. So this is about complete aerobic respiration. So we have completed glycolysis, TCA cycle and electron transport chain. Okay. So these are the three stages of aerobic respiration. Okay. So by next class we are going to see about anaerobic respiration and further one. Okay. So thank you one and all, whatever you are attending the classes. If you like the video, you just give one like and you just share the video. Okay. So thank you one and all for attending the class. Thank you.